be a different story there, and this is something we're going to check into right now. But as far as the Twin Towers, the World Trade Center goes, no apparent attack there. But now
we're hearing that they're evacuating the west wing of the White House. The west wing, of course, is where the president's office is. The president is not there, but where the vice president has an office, the national security advisor. They are evacuating the west wing of the White House. And as you said, they are now saying that a plane, incredibly, has crashed into the Pentagon. Folks, you're not going to see another day like this, I assure you.
Let us hope not. Let's bring everyone up to date. This is breaking news live from the Pentagon. Pentagon, you can see, almost totally obliterated by smoke. Apparently an aircraft has crashed into the Pentagon.
We want to make it clear when you say obliterate, simply that you cannot see it, because we are not suggesting that the building has. We are not sure the extent of the damage could be considerable, but we do want to make it clear that in some of the pictures you can see the building is still standing, but the smoke is so thick that you cannot even see the building at this point. Okay, we do want to make that clear.
And then, as this is going on, we're also following the horrific situation in New York City with the planes, two of them apparently having crashed into the World Trade Centers, the Twin Towers you see there. One of those, now we have fair confirmation, an American Airlines flight hijacked after takeoff from Boston. Now, that leads to all sorts of other questions. We don't know who was on board that plane, how many people were on board.
How many people were on board that. Let me just get back to this Pentagon situation, of course, developing in our own backyard. Of course, this is the military center of the United States, the command center, and Associated Press reporters saying they saw, he or she saw the tail end of a large airliner plunge into the building. Again, a large airliner, so it's leading to suggest, again, this might have been a coordinated hijacking of airplanes to fly them in suicide missions, using planes as bombs, as the professor put it, planes as domestic planes as weapons.
It would appear at this point, not to be overly dramatic, on a horrible, horrible day, that some of the major parts of the United States, in terms of public prestige, are under siege right now.
Okay, one more area now that we are going to be checking out, the National Mall. Is there a particular building on the mall? Let me ask our producers. Okay, a report of a fire on the National Mall. Of course, we'll be checking that out as well.
The president was told of the first incident this morning in Sarasota, Florida. He left immediately after making phone calls to the vice president, the governor of New York. This was before the scenes you're seeing here. Now here, as Lark pointed out, you can see the buildings of the Pentagon, and of course the Pentagon is constructed in a series of rings, appears to be intact at this point, which is a good sign.
Which is a good sign.
We're hoping now, you can also see, just off the right-hand side of your screen, a helicopter circling just to the right. We're hoping to get more information about the Pentagon. We do have a crew on the way to New York as well, we might point out.
Now, if we can, let's see if we can get a double box so we can watch the Pentagon unfold, as well as we want to keep our eye on the situation in New York City. That's right. And we're also going to try to find out what's going on in the National Mall, report of a fire there. So let's try to bring you up to date. Just before 9 o'clock, report of a fire at the World Trade Center, possible report of a plane slamming into one of the towers. And as we were on the air live at 9:03, you could see a second plane, clearly a large plane, fly deliberately into the second tower. And so you're seeing the two towers there in New York. Here we go. We're going to show you. This happened just about 9:03. Watch the right of your screen. You're going to see the plane come into view there. Here we go.
And that may, in fact, be a 767, which is a modern, one of the newer jetliners, put into place, significant too, because it can be flown with a crew of 2 rather than 3, we believe, but one of the new things. And now, apparently, 2 other things that are happening, Lark, just want to bring you up to date on, that we've just gotten word in that the U.S. Capitol, we believe, is being evacuated, along with the west wing of the White House. And there we see over the old executive office building, you can see in the distance, someone in the way there, but you can see right behind that technician there, the flames coming from the Pentagon. As we also see on the left hand of our screen, the flames coming from the Twin Towers, the World Trade Center in New York. This could be the start of a major event in U.S. foreign policy. Those events probably going to unfold in the next couple of hours, and we're hoping for more information as to what exactly the United States is going to respond. The amazing thing at this point, Lark, it would appear to me, would be the simultaneous hijacking, not of small planes that you can rent, but of major commercial jetliners.
Major commercial jetliners. And we had a professor from American University who was talking about this as being an escalation of terrorism, a different technique that we have not seen. Of course, we've seen individuals strapped with explosives. We have seen trucks packed with explosives and cars, and now again to see airplanes used as bombs.
And now some confirmation and some more specifics on one of the aircraft involved, and this is back, we believe, on the first impact into one of the World Trade Centers, that now it is being identified as Flight 11, an American Airlines flight from Boston to Los Angeles. But at this point, we should also point out we don't know at what stage any hijacking may have occurred, whether in fact after the flight had taken off or perhaps before the plane was even boarded.
Okay, we have this report now from the FAA, the Federal Administration Aviation, shutting down aircraft takeoffs nationwide. So, folks, if you're expecting to take a flight today, forget about it there, yes, because they are shutting down air traffic. And is it nationwide?
Yes.
Let's hear that. Is that confirmed, the FAA, nationwide? This would be incredible. I think that would probably be unprecedented, to have a nationwide shutdown of air traffic.
So at this point in the United States, we have the Pentagon and the World Trade Centers in New York City attacked by terrorists in planes, hijacked, commercial aircraft hijacked. We have air travel in the United States stopped. We have the White House evacuated, the Capitol evacuated.
The Capitol, right.
It is as close in my 41 years to being at war as we have ever been. Perhaps an overstatement, but on a horrible day.
Only Congress can declare war, but it will be interesting, of course, to see what the U.S. response will be. I suspect it will be swift and strong once they are certain of what has happened here. I think perhaps if you were saying that is an act of war against this country, then yes.
I would think that would be the case. We are hoping now to get more confirmation and more information on any possible casualties from the World Trade Center, of course, if there are any at all at the Pentagon as well. Right. The last word we had was 1,000.
Right. We should point out that we don't know how they're arriving at that figure, but yes, talking about reports out of New York again of 1,000 injuries, and it is certainly easy to believe that figure, and I'm sure soon we'll begin to hearing from hospitals there in New York City, and we are checking as well with our local hospitals to find out if any people have been taken from the Pentagon.
Sources are also reporting now to the Associated Press that the White House was in fact threatened with terrorist attacks. So obviously good reason, and perhaps I'm sure that evacuation would have taken place even without that, considering the situation with regard to the Pentagon.
Yeah. We want to go back now to American University professor Emilio Viana, who specializes in terrorism. Professor, let's get your reaction to what is unfolding here. A plane attack against the Pentagon, against the World Trade Center. How do you describe this, Professor?
Well, it seems to me to confirm that it is a concerted, well-planned attack by people who want to inflict damage to the major institutions of the U.S. and of the Western world. Obviously, the World Towers symbolize the financial power of the U.S., Wall Street, etc., etc. The Pentagon clearly represents the might, the military power of the U.S. So it fits very well into the pattern of the attack on the USS Cole and on the embassies in Africa and other interests of the U.S. In the world. In other words, it is a well-planned, concerted attack on the U.S. as the world superpower, particularly, I would assume, because of the role it plays, supposedly or really, in the Middle East, in its hostility towards Iraq, Iran, and other Arab countries, and the support, obviously, of Israel.
Professor, you had mentioned earlier we had just begun to focus on the Bush administration when we got the word about the Pentagon. So let's talk about the current Middle East situation where you had seen the escalation of violence in the Middle East. So you are not surprised then that we are seeing something here as well?
Well, obviously, the Bush administration, we all know in part because it is new, certainly it has not taken a very active role in what is going on, particularly between Israel and the Palestinians, and it has confirmed our position towards Iraq and also towards Iran and other countries like Syria. And I think that it is time for the administration to indeed pay more attention to this area. We are paying a lot of attention to Russia, to China, to other areas of the world, but this is really the most explosive part of the world that in the end brings the conflict even here at home to us. So it is not something far away. It is coming right here at us, as we can see today in these extremely dramatic events that are totally unexpected. I don't think that we've ever had a day when the White House, the Capitol were,
Professor, let me interrupt you for just a second because we have yet another development here. The State Department is being evacuated. The building's being evacuated. And again, not that there's been an incident there. Let's clarify that. Is this a precautionary? Is this precaution?
As we look at the live pictures there of the Pentagon, this is a quote from an Associated Press radio reporter, Professor Vianna, if you'll stand by. He says, "I saw the tail of a large airliner. It plowed right into the Pentagon, this fitting in with a pattern that apparently has been the case in the World Trade Center."
We have something else we want to tell because this affects our local viewers, that Metro is shutting down its trains. So again, possible concern that, that Metro might somehow be used in this. So Metro is shutting down its trains. We're going to try to get spoke building at this point. Okay, we do want to make that clear.
And then as this is going on, we're also following the horrific situation in New York City with the planes, two of them apparently having crashed into the World Trade Centers, the twin towers you see there. One of those now, we have fair confirmation, an American Airlines flighted by smoke. Apparently an aircraft has crashed into the Pentagon.
We want to make it clear when you say obliterate, simply that you cannot see it, because we are not suggesting that the building has, we are not sure the extent of the damage could be considerable, but we do want to make it clear that in some of the pictures you can see the building is still standing, but the smoke is so thick that you cannot even see the building.
Hijacked after takeoff from Boston. Now, that leads to all sorts of other questions. We don't know who was on board that plane, how many people were on board.
How many people were on board that. Let me just get back to this Pentagon situation, of course, developing in our own backyard. Of course, this is the military center of the United States, the command center, and Associated Press reporters saying they are evacuating the West Wing of the White House. And as you said, they are now saying that a plane, incredibly, has crashed into the Pentagon. Folks, you're not going to see another day like this, I assure you.
Let us hope not. Let's bring everyone up to date. This is breaking news live from the Pentagon. Pentagon, you can see, almost totally obliterated. Maybe a different story there, and this is something we're going to check into right now. But as far as the Twin Towers, the World Trade Center goes, no apparent attack there. But now
we're hearing that they're evacuating the West Wing of the White House. The West Wing, of course, is where the President's office is. The President is not there, but where the Vice President has an office, the National Security Advisor, the